this is Midnight. Welcome to my third video. Thank you for watching. Today I will be talking about South Node in Taurus, North Node in Scorpio. So let's begin. To remind you what I think of the South Node, I think it symbolizes your collective, formative, psychological years 1 through 7 about that you experienced in life. It shows what we took from these years within us, what we found useful, stubborn habits we might feel stuck with, coping mechanisms, things of that nature that we have with us and that we keep with us when we begin to ascend to our North Node, which is our more mature, higher aspirations in life. So, if your South Node is in Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus is a fixed sign. Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is a yin planet, meaning it is feminine in nature. Taurus itself is a yin sign. So you have a very earthly, indulgent Venus ruling over your South Node. It is way more indulgent than Libra, because Libra itself is a yang sign, meaning it is masculine in nature, which balances out the femininity of Venus itself. So it is definitely not indulgent like Taurus can be. Venus is the planet of love, charm, balance, beauty, and relationships. And this is what's ruling your fixed earthly South Node in Taurus. So how is Venus expressed through this fixed earthly mode? Well, it is expressed through the activation, the pleasure of our 5 earthly senses. Any hobby, anything that can activate these 5 senses brings much comfort and stability to these individuals. And I say stability because fixed people need stability of some kind, and this is what makes them feel comfortable. So what can do that? Music, nature, food, dance, art, textures. These are all things that make you feel comfortable and stable. If your South Node is here, I actually know 2 people very deeply with these South Nodes. They're far apart in age, but I see very similar themes in both of their lives. And from what I've seen, I'm not gonna, some astrologers might start out with this North Node saying that, these people are obsessed with earthly possessions and that's all they care about. And, I'm not gonna tell you that because that's not what I've seen with this axis. From what I've seen with Taurus South Node people is that these are very blessed and special people because they are born with the best earthly coping mechanisms on this planet. These people can create their little heavens in whatever hell they're in. And honestly, you could think that you were blessed with a very rich childhood if you have the South Node. I don't think that. I think you're blessed with the coping mechanisms to feel rich in your environment because these people, they have a tendency, Taurus really is concerned with stability in any forms. So they take a hold of their stability and they say, I don't care what chaos is around me. I'm going to make my perfect heaven. I'm going to make my Venus land that I'm going to escape to whenever things are getting very un-Venus-y, not pleasant. I'm going to go there and I'm going to tune out. That's the perfect word, tune out, and I'm going to do my thing. The first person I know with this, okay, I have to say, you guys are so talented. This person I know, he is an exceptional artist. He was never formally trained. And how he became such a great artist, which really speaks to the South Node, is every time his home life would be just crazy and chaotic, very un-Venus, he would escape in his room, lock himself up, and draw for hours on end. And it wasn't like broody drawing. He wasn't pissed off while he was drawing. He has those amazing coping mechanisms to disassociate himself from that chaotic hell environment and just to literally tune out. Like he He wasn't thinking about that. Like maybe I would be thinking as a Scorpio South Node if I'm like drawing something when I'm angry or hurt or pissed, affected emotionally by something. No, they have a golden ticket to Venus land, and they tune out, they bull out, and they do their thing. And they can do that, and it doesn't even matter if they don't have a lot. They could take the one good thing they have material wise, and that's enough. And if they don't have something, they'll find something else. Like, it's a never ending coping mechanism. They can utilize it forever, and it keeps them strong. It keeps their environment stable. It keeps Venus happy. Because one thing about Venus people, especially with a South Node in Venus, like, don't mess with that Venus, because they're gonna shut you down. No one messes with Venus. And that's when you see their aggression come out, when you mess with that stability, because their stability is based on Venus, because that's what they learn in their psychological formative years, that, you know, they're concerned with maintaining stability. So in order to maintain this stability, I'm going to Venus land while you can stay in this hell, because I'm not staying in this. Not at all. So yeah, it is fixed, like I said. So as I said in my other video, fixed South Nodes are much harder to change. And honestly, this South Node is a blessing. I am totally jealous. I don't even know if I'd want to change or have the motivation to change if I had a Taurus South Node, because I strive, because it is my North Node. I want those coping mechanisms, and I work my butt off to have those every day. But you can do that effortlessly, just like breathing. But here's why you might want to change. So your North Node, which is in Scorpio. Scorpio, like I said, also fixed water. A little lake, a dark little lake, ruled by Pluto, planet of death and transformation, and Mars, planet of war, passion, aggression. You know, those planets, Scorpio is saying, hey, you're stagnating. I know you love your Venus. I know you love Venus land, but man, you are stagnating in life, and you're going to stay in this little safe stable in Venus land, and you're never going to change. You're never going to transform into the real Buddha. Because I definitely always associate Taurus with Buddha. You're not going to be the shiny golden Buddha that you're meant to be in this life. If you don't die, you have to transform. And also, this will deepen your character. This North Node is calling you to deepen your character, and to also deepen your understanding of others. You know, you need to make sure that Venus land, I'm not saying give up Venus land, but you got to make sure that Venus land is coming from within you rather than outside of you. So you have to get that serenity within, and you're going to get that by dying. Think of this in nature, because I know you love nature. From decay blooms new life. But if you never let things die, you're never going to see new growth. That's why your life said you need this North Node Taurus and South Node people. So how do you go about achieving it? Well, think of this. Think of a little bull peacefully walking to this dark Scorpio lake, and it peers into the water. What is it going to see? It's going to see its reflection. And since it's dark water, it's going to be a much darker version of your face than a clear water reflection would be. That's your shadow side. It's not Venus. I know you're going to want to just not look at it, but you need to face it head on. You need to literally give it a big hug and accept that, hey, maybe you're hurt from things in those formative years. Maybe you have pain. I know you don't like talking about it. Both of the people I know with the South Node, if you ask them about something that's sad to them, about something that happened to them, they'll straight up tell you, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Oh, I don't want to talk about that, because that doesn't make Venus happy. And they're all about keeping that Venus happy, because the Venus rules their stability. So you need to acknowledge those demons that you're running away from, because you are running away from them. I get that you have these awesome coping mechanisms that I can only dream of. But life is telling you got to deepen your character. And you can't deepen your character if you don't face the demons. Take a note from Scorpio. Scorpio is a natural born detective and is no stranger to the darkness. Scorpio is very, even if it's quiet, emotionally self-reflecting all the time about bad things that happen to them. Am I telling you to obsess about them? No. But start by acknowledging that they're there. One of the people I know with this, her mother died when she was still relatively young. She could not even go to the cemetery to see her mother. She could barely talk about her mother. And I can look at her eyes and just see that they were so sad. I knew that this was weighing heavy on her soul, even though those Venus coping mechanisms were keeping her alive and kicking. It took her so many years to finally go there. And it did a lot for her. She felt so relieved after seeing her mom again in the cemetery. And she felt so sorry for not having done it sooner. I mean, you need to take steps like that. Is Venus going to be happy about it? Probably not. But here's the good thing. Take those coping mechanisms with you. Fixed south nodes require baby steps because it's very stubborn energy. It's hard to change. Take that guiding light of Venus with you into that darkness. Speaking of that, you little Buddhas, here is a quote from Buddha about facing demons. Running away from any problem will only increase the distance from the solution. Face it and finish it. It's not going anywhere, guys. That darkness inside of you is there. It's not running away. You have to look at it head on and take it. You have to embrace it. It's a part of you. Think of art. In a drawing, you have shades and light. In paintings, you have shades and light. You can't just have light. You have to have the shades to define the light. So Taurus, define your light. Deepen your life with the power of Pluto and Mars. Here's another quote from Buddha. Wisdom makes light the darkness of ignorance. Because truly, even though you have these amazing coping mechanisms, you're keeping yourself in the dark. You're keeping those blinders on, and it is making you a very ignorant person. Not only do you do it to yourself, you do it to other people. What I've witnessed from these people is that they don't want to, not only do they not want to hear their own sob stories, their own sadness and darkness, they certainly don't want to hear other people's either. And they often run away from that because, they're not even being mean when they do this, or they're not even being weak. These people, Taurus and South Node and Taurus people, the way they view these emotional issues, they don't see, if they can't see it as a practical solution to them, then they think their mindset, which is kind of wise in some ways, is what can I do about it? I've heard that from their mouth. Well, it's there, it happened to me. What can I do about it? Nothing. So I'm just going to go along my merry way and enjoy my coping mechanisms that have gotten me this far in life. Hey, fair enough. But you're going to stay in that small, stagnant stable of stability that you made for yourself, and you're never going to get to spread your wings, South Node and Taurus people. You are such a talented person. Like these people with this awesome South Node, amazingly talented. But a lot of time they don't even give themselves the chance to venture out, to venture out from their old ways and even allow themselves to dream. Of course they engage with their talents because it's a part of their Venus escape plan. Not escape, it's a part of their Venus land where they choose to go to this different dimension when there's chaos. Okay? I get that. You can keep, and I see the value of keeping Venus land intact. But at what cost, Taurus and South Node people? At the cost of your dreams? At the cost of having close bonds with other people? Because you can't have close bonds with other people if you don't share darkness with each other. Share light and darkness creates balanced relationships, and Libra does rule relationships. So not only do you have to embrace, hug that darkness in yourself, you also have to do that in other people, and also expect that in return. It is totally okay to expect that in return. This is where the energy of Scorpio, the detective, comes in. You might need to test some people. You need to see who are your ride or dies, who's going to be there for you when you start to be vulnerable and open up about things that have hurt you, darker things that are just so un-Venus. Who's going to stick around? Even if it's only one person that sticks around. Remember, you're a sign, you're an energy that values quality over quantity. It's okay. You don't need them anyway. Let them go. Because they're not going to help you reach that deep North Node of yours in Scorpio. So, another quote I want to mention from Buddha. The trouble is, you think you have time. Taurus and South Node people. Taurus in general is very slow because it's a comfy energy. It's like a warm blanket. I can't get out of a warm blanket very quickly. I think most people can relate to that. So you have to realize that you can't wait forever to make these hard psychological changes, these deep dives into yourself. You can't wait forever to break the fences of your stable of stagnation, because you're only going to suffer spiritual death inside. You might be alive and kicking because you have those amazing earthly coping mechanisms that keep you practically moving, but you have to think, even if from your point of view, what can I do something about, about something in the past? There's no practical solution. Well, South Node and Taurus, sometimes just looking at the reflection, the darkness, and acknowledging it's there will do more than you think for you. Just acknowledging it. Emotional problems don't necessarily have practical solutions. When I think of South Node and Taurus people reaching this Scorpio North Node, I almost think of just like a meditating Buddha. Like, you need to meditate on this. You can do it in Serenity. You can do it in Venus land. Sure, do it in Venus land. Don't forget those awesome coping mechanisms, but you have to think about these things. And the good thing is, you don't need to take the bad parts of Scorpio. You don't need to obsess over them. You don't need to brood over them. You just need to acknowledge them and give them a big hug inside of you, and then give other people a big hug. I know another person, he has a very good heart, but when I kind of shared some of my darkness with him, it made him run away. And eventually he came back and he apologized, and ever since, like, we've had, even though it hurt me because I was the one who was in, he left behind, we had such a deeper bond once he came back and could accept not only the darkness in me, could begin to accept the darkness in him, and it actually increased the stability of our bond. And that's what I want you to take from this story I'm sharing with you, that sharing darkness with people and sharing light, doing those in equal amounts, that's only going to strengthen your bonds with people, and that's only going to strengthen your self-love. And I do believe that people with fixed energy, especially fixed South Nodes and North Nodes, you need to practice self-love more than probably any other person, because if it's already, fixed energy is kind of selfish in nature, and if you don't nurture the self, then you're not going to make Venus happy, because you're not going to be very pleasant to be around. A lot of fixed energy people don't realize that about themselves, and they push themselves to be pleasing to other people, and they end up just being very passive aggressive and moody. But it's because they're not taking that step to make sure they're okay before they come for you. So, last Buddha quote I would like to share is, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. So not only do you have to light, you keep that candle within you lit. If you can show off that awesome Venus coping mechanisms and show, that you're a deeper person, you can love someone's light and darkness, that's only going to help you on your spiritual path. It's going to brighten your path and someone else's, because you guys are such special people. You're really a gem. I've seen you be pillars for families because you're just so stable and reliable. But you have to give, that commitment to you keeping yourself practically going in this world by escaping to Venus land. You have to give that commitment, to deepen your character 100%. And you endure. You can do it. If anyone can do it, you can. Okay, South Node in Taurus, North Node in Scorpio people, I would love to recommend that you listen to this song, okay? Think of it like Scorpio singing to you, and a song that you also need to sing to yourself, okay? So, with love from Scorpio, and also with love from yourself. It's Phil Collins' True Colors. Now, he did not write this song. He covered it. The reason why I want to share his version is because he has a Scorpio moon. And people with Scorpio moons have the unique ability to look at you in the eye with such intensity right to your soul. And that's what he does in this music video. He isn't even attractive, and it's magnetic, okay? So he says, I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. Taurus, you are beautiful, you are lovable, even with this darkness. Hug yourself, hug someone you love. Embrace it. It is not going to affect your charm. It's only going to magnify and intensify it, because that's what Pluto does. So Taurus and South Node people, North Node and Scorpio people, I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. You are beautiful like a rainbow, like a shiny Buddha. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe, give me a like, and share in the comments your thoughts on this. Tell me if this video resonated with you. Let me know of your personal experiences. I would love to read about them. Also, if you have any song recommendations for me that you think speak to this axis, please share. I would love to listen to the songs. I would love to read about them. Thank you. Midnight telling you bye.